What's going on, Ohio Cannabis Report YouTube family? It's your boy Gerald Moore Jr. back to you guys with another episode. Again, we're going live. I'm trying to give you guys as much content and information as possible to stay on top of all things Ohio cannabis. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all those things. Follow the podcast on wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to be on the podcast, make sure you reach out to me, Ohio Cannabis Report at gmail.com. If you want to be on the podcast, typically I like to interview anybody and everybody who's willing to come on the show. Again, we do it. We can do it virtually. We can do it in person. But I like people to be in the comfort of their own space. So if you're in the cannabis industry as an entrepreneur, as a cannabis patient, as somebody that just likes to use it, we want to hear your story. And so we want to know, why you got into cannabis, how cannabis helps you, if you're in the cannabis business as a bud tender, cultivator, if you would like to be in the industry. We just want to hear all sides of the story from our community members. So again, if you want to be on the show, be sure to reach out to me at Ohio Cannabis Report. You can DM me online on Facebook, Instagram, or leave a comment under the YouTube video. And I'll be sure to try to get back to you, or you can email us again, like I said, at Ohio Cannabis Report at gmail.com. And so, again, we had a lot going on the last week. Obviously, we've had, the federal government ban to open up, or to open up the government again. They put in a ban of hemp at the federal government level. And then here in Ohio, basically, about to be in lame duck, which means that the politicians are going to be on break for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I don't think they're coming back until the new year. And so they pushed through a bunch of bills, a bunch of laws to send to the governor the other night. And so we were supposed to have, there was supposed to be a committee hearing meeting at 8:30 on Wednesday. We logged in on Wednesday, the Ohio channel, and that meeting never happened. And it was delayed until later on in that day. So again, there's a lot of information that has conspired that we have to disseminate and give to you guys. So I'm going to share my screen here, and then we're just going to read this article from the Ohio Capitol Journal. So the Ohio House passes bill that would ban intoxicating hemp products, revise state's marijuana laws. So this was by Megan Henry, November 20th, 2025. Ohio lawmakers passed a bill early Thursday morning that would ban intoxicating hemp products and make changes to the state's marijuana laws. The Ohio House voted 52-34 to pass Ohio Senate Bill 56, sending it to the Senate. Ohio Republicans Tim Barhorse and Thaddeus Claggett, Levi Dean, Jennifer Gross, Brian Lorenz, Jason Stevens, DJ Swearingen, Michelle Teska joined Ohio Democrats in voting against the bill around 1 a.m. Thursday morning. The House vote took place after the bill was originally scheduled to go to conference committee Wednesday morning, but the meeting did not happen until just before midnight Wednesday. Like, y'all understand how diabolical that is? Like, literally, we're sitting here waiting for this committee hearing meeting to happen at 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday, right? The meeting didn't happen until right before midnight. Like, how insane. Ohio State Senator Bill DeMore, Democrat from Columbus, offered about a dozen amendments during the conference committee, but none of them were adopted. The Ohio Senate has session scheduled for December 9th, and Ohio House Speaker Matt Huffman, Republican from Lima, said he is confident the Senate will pass the bill. The Republican lawmakers on the conference committee said a lot of accommodations had to be made. Quote, "We were so close that things came together, and we did not want to walk away being so close with where we're at," said Ohio State Senator Steve Huffman, Republican from Tip City. Now, these are cousins, right? Matt Huffman and Steve Huffman. "I think we came to a good compromise. Huffman introduced the bill in January, and the Senate originally passed the bill in February, but the House made major changes, most notably by adding intoxicating hemp regulations. The Ohio House passed Ohio SB 56 in October with a bipartisan vote, and the Ohio Senate voted unanimously 1 week later not to concur with the changes made to the bill, sending it to the conference committee. After the bill was sent to the conference committee at the end of October, changes were made to hemp at the federal level. Congress recently voted to ban products that contain zero point 0.4 milligrams of total THC per container earlier this month when they voted to reopen the government. Previously, the 2018 Farm Bill said hemp can be grown legally if it contains less than 0.3% THC. There is a 1 year implementation delay for the federal hemp ban, but states can create their own regulatory framework before then. Quote, on the hemp side, what the federal government did certainly influenced what we needed to do, Huffman said. The Ohio's bill complies with recent federal changes by banning intoxicating hemp products from being sold outside of a licensed marijuana dispensary. When it comes to intoxicating hemp products, we essentially cut to the chase, said Ohio Rep. Brian Stewart, Republican from Asheville. Quote, we had already whittled down most retailers where those could be sold. That is going to kick in. They're going to have the 90 days of runway that's in the bill. After that, all the products are either going to be sold in a marijuana dispensary or they won't be allowed to be sold, end quote. If the Ohio Senate passes Ohio SB 56 in December and Ohio Governor Mike DeWine signs the bill into law before the new year, Ohio's intoxicating hemp could take effect as soon as March. Ohio's SB 56 allows 5 milligram THC beverages to be manufactured, distributed, and sold until December 31st, 2026. Quote, there's aspirational language in here that the legislative leaders have agreed on that says if the federal government takes action and makes THC beverages legal again, that it's our intent that we would come back and have legislation to create a structure and have legal THC beverages again, Stewart said. On October 8th, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced a 90-day exclusive executive order that bans the sale of intoxicating hemp products that started on October 14th. But a Franklin County Court of Common Pleas judge has placed a temporary restraining order on DeWine's ban until December 2nd. On the marijuana side, the bill would reduce the THC levels in adult use marijuana extracts from a maximum of 90% down to a maximum of 70%, cap THC levels in adult use flower to 35%, and prohibit smoking in most public places. Part of the probable cause portions were removed from the bill, but some of it still remains. Quote, more of the probable cause is if you're driving down the road and you're across the yellow line, if you appear to be intoxicated in other ways, that is a probable cause, Huffman said. Ohio SB 56 would give 36% of adult use marijuana sales revenue to municipalities and townships that have recreational marijuana dispensaries. Quote, we're glad to see that this legislation releases the long-promised host community fund dollars. Ohio Cannabis Coalition Executive Director David Bowling said in a statement, this cannabis tax revenue is an important way our licensed operators give back to the communities where they live and work. The bill also maintains a 10% tax rate on recreational marijuana and keeps home grow the same as at 6 plants per adult and 12 per residence. Ohioans passed a citizens-initiated law to legalize recreational marijuana in 2023 with 57% of the vote, and sales started in August 2024. Ohio lawmakers can change the law since it passed as a citizens initiative, not a constitutional amendment, something they have been trying to do since late 2023. Quote, Ohio SB 56 fundamentally undermines the will of the voter, and they said that what they said they wanted, said State Rep. Bride Rose Sweeney, Democrat from Westlake. They told us at the ballot box. They said we need to stop punishing adults for responsible use. Ohio's recreational marijuana sales topped $702.5 million in the first year. Quote, people wanted the ability to smoke it where they wanted to smoke it, the ability to have their neighbors exchange marijuana and see whose brand was better, DeMora said. This bill does none of that stuff. Ohio Republicans disagree. Quote, I don't think it goes against the will of the voters, Ohio House Speaker Matt Huffman said. You can say we got 57% of the vote, but but is it the will of all of the people that you're allowed to smoke marijuana cigarettes while you're walking into the Cincinnati's Reds baseball game? I don't think so. Yeah, it is. What the fuck are you talking about? If I want to smoke a cigarette, drink a Bud Light, I could do that. If I want to smoke a joint walking into the Cincinnati Reds game, yes. And uh, the MLB has legalized, or they partnered with CBD brands. These people are crazy, man. Total whack jobs. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about that article. So again, the law is still a law right now, as it stands. So issue 2 is still the law. Um, and we just have to keep educating the community, educating politicians, business leaders, whoever you need to educate, because again, this impacts millions of people. You know what I mean? And I understand not everybody's privy to what's going on at the state house. I understand not everybody's comfortable or confident or secure enough to reach out to their politicians, their state legislators. But we have to create community. We have to create spaces where people can feel safe to use their medicine, whether that's lounges, whether that's just safe spaces. But we have to, and we need those people that are willing to stand up and share their message, share their story, share their testimony publicly to do that. And that's why we created this platform and this space. So if there's anybody that ever wants to come on the platform, share their story, like I said, we are independent news and entertainment and culture platform. You know what I mean? We're not traditional news. So we don't have the same restrictions, but we also don't have the same bandwidth, right? Like I don't have hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to do big productions and stuff like that, which is fine, right? I'm literally sitting in my basement right now. So again, we like to have stories. We like to have people come on and share their thoughts, because again, I'm only one person. You know what I mean? And I have my experiences. I have my own thoughts. I have a home too, so it's like I could home grow. I got a yard, got a garage, but I understand not everybody in Ohio is a homeowner. Not everybody has that capacity to do that, because growing is not the easiest, right? And people say, well, just grow your own. And it's like, it's not that simple. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, you can put a seed in the ground but if you really want to grow some good weed, it's not, you have to really pay attention to it. You have to harvest it the right way. You have to cure it the right way. And again, people need to be educated, right, on the processes, on the type of soils, the type of seeds. There's just all different types of ways. And so again, that's why it's important. Like if you are a cannabis cultivator, you should be educating folks. You should be creating programming. You should be doing events. Every event shouldn't just be a smoke off or let me sell my tree. Like there should be some educational components to those things. There should be some media components. There should be some advocacy components to these events, because I get it. Everybody wants to smoke their weed. Everybody want to listen to music, party, have a good time. But then when it comes to the legislation, it's like nobody shows the fuck up. Like I'll go to an event, there's 400 people there getting smoked out, but then there's nobody that shows up to the state house to actually go combat the motherfuckers that's taking the money, which is crazy to me. And it's like people are, I don't know. But it's important. And I don't know if it's like people are still in that COVID hangover where people are afraid to go outside. People are afraid to be around people. I was cool with COVID. I love COVID. I ain't gonna lie. It was good, Gulak. Happy birthday, by the way. Belated birthday. Goo. But yeah, it's crazy out here. You know what I mean? And everything happens at the state house. You know what I mean? Like it really go down at the state house. Like ever since I started going to the state house a few years ago, I was like, oh shit, like it really go down. And this is where all the money in the state is funneling through, going to nonprofits, going to corporations, tax benefits, loans, grants, nonprofit grants, or money for roads, bridges, so contracts, bids. That's where all the big money, that's where the big game is at right there, the state house. So, um, people got to understand, like, you could just walk up in the state house too. Like, you don't even need no ID. They just check you. You go through the security, state highway patrol, and you keep it pushing. You know what I mean? And I heard the city council. I haven't been to city council yet, but apparently city council is even tougher to get into than the Ohio State House. Apparently, I guess you got to have an ID, you got to have a meeting scheduled and shit like that. So, the state house is really where it goes down. You know what I mean? So if you live in Columbus, I know there's over what 800,000 folks that live in Columbus. You know what I mean? The state of Ohio has 11.8 million people in the state. There is no reason people shouldn't be showing up to these committee hearings, these meetings, writing their state representatives, their legislature. Like, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. And what you also have to understand, just because somebody a Republican don't mean if they over your district, they work for you. You know what I mean? Like, even if they not in your, if they on the committee meeting, you need to be writing all of them. I write them all. Like, I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, who the fuck, red, blue, yellow, green, nigga, what? And everybody just be picking sides, and I get it, but damn, go Buckeyes. No, fuck that. Go Bobcats. Like, yeah, but I mean, I don't even, I don't even know. I don't even know what these Democrats doing either. They loafing, loafing. I'll read this one. Ohio House protects marijuana. Hemp as policy deal goes up in smoke. So the Ohio House has once again protected marijuana and intoxicating hemp policy from the Senate's restrictions after a deal went up in smoke Wednesday night. The Senate adjourned before the House was able to figure out if they had enough votes. The gavel hit for likely the last time before Ohio lawmakers take their holiday break. And is this the same person? No, this is nobody else. All right, I'm wondering what's going on here. And their main priority was supposed to be marijuana and hemp policy. A deal was done to ban intoxicating hemp products with low-level THC that you can buy in the gas station or smoke shops. Marijuana policy wasn't going to change much until a last-minute curveball on Wednesday. Quote, the Senate has dug in on adding some things to the bill that are just not acceptable to a lot of members of the House. End quotes. State Rep Jamie Callender, Republican from Concord, said. They have hit a roadblock, a Jamie Calendar-sized roadblock. The Cleveland area Republican calls the last-minute additions to the bill, quote, unconstitutional. Quote, some language that they took out that we had to protect from searches and stops by law enforcement based on being a known user or a known consumer, Callender said. Democratic State Senator Bill DeMore, Democrat from Columbus, said the new provisions would make it illegal to have marijuana in your car in some instances. The changes could also jeopardize jobs if someone tests positive for THC. It also would not include money for expungement. Quote, the majority of Republicans in the House and Senate don't care about the will of the voters. And that's the biggest problem, DeMore said. But Ohio Senate President Rob McCauley said that they were focused on public safety. Quote, selling a lot of these products that we've already said are really concerning could potentially harm kids, McCauley said in a previous gaggle. State Rep Tex Fisher, a Republican from Boardman, has been working with Callender to protect access to hemp products while also regulating them. The duo has been pushing back against the leadership for months. The president argued that he and the Senate had done their job on the topic. McCauley said he isn't going to air the differences out in public. Quote, I don't think that's fair to negotiations that are supposed to be in the spirit of a conference committee, he said. Quote, the Senate has made significant concessions to get to this point. We've even made continued concessions 3 times after we thought we had a deal, end quote. But this isn't the end. Quote, we have an if needed session in December, Ohio House Speaker Matt Huffman, Republican from Lima, said. But for a large group of Republicans and Democrats in the House, the Senate's requests are unreasonable. Quote, the Senate always has the opportunity to go back and retract, Callender said. Yang Miller, what did it do? What did it do? What did it do? So that's pretty interesting. I got my screen share.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Rob Powers.
Good evening. I'm Katie Houston. They are still debating THC policy as they try to create a deal before they break until the new year. Columbus Bureau reporter Morgan Trout told us yesterday about the agreement, but then today it hit a snag.
The gavel is hitting for likely the last time before Ohio lawmakers take their holiday break, with the legislature racing to get bills passed. And their main priority, marijuana and hemp policy. A deal was done to ban intoxicating hemp, products with low-level THC that you can buy in gas stations and smoke shops. Marijuana policy wasn't going to change much until a last-minute curveball Wednesday.
The Senate has dug in on adding some things to the bill that are just not acceptable to a lot of members of the House.
They've hit a roadblock. A Jamie Callender-sized roadblock. The Cleveland area Republican calls the last-minute additions to the bill unconstitutional.
Some language that they took out that we had to protect from searches and stops by law enforcement based on being a known user of a known consumer.
Democrat Bill DeMora says that the new provisions would make it illegal to have marijuana in your car in some instances. The changes could also jeopardize jobs if someone tests positive for THC.
The majority of Republicans in the House and Senate don't care about the will of the voters.
But Senate President Rob McCauley says that this is a way to support law enforcement while focusing on public safety.
Selling a lot of these products that we've already said are really concerning, could potentially harm kids.
Senate leaders and House Speaker Matt Huffman told us that they're optimistic that they will come to an agreement by the end of the night.
Fairly confident we can do that today, but that's why we have, among the reasons, we have an if needed session in December.
But for a large group of Republicans and Democrats in the House, the Senate's requests are unreasonable.
Do you see this as the Senate's effort to, in a way, recriminalize marijuana?
Yes, the Senate always has the opportunity to go back and retract.
The marathon session is set to go into the night. At the Ohio State House, I'm Morgan Trout reporting.
I mean, like, they be so blatant, you know what I mean? They're blatant, right? Like, and so I seen a comment. I'll put a comment back up, and it's like you said, it's going to fuel the black market. And again, this is not the law. I just want to put this out there. They are trying to amend the law. They're trying to change the law, right? They're trying to change issue 2. As of now, issue 2 is the law. You can go to the dispensary, buy your weed. You can grow, home grow, or you can still consume publicly for the most part. You can share, right? Like, you can't sell it. You can't say, oh, you can't pop up a storefront and be like, I'm selling weed, right? The hemp ban, that stuff is still a whole different issue, right? Like, so there's trying to either, the state is trying to either put the hemp products in a dispensary, right? You have the federal government hemp ban. So it's a lot. I get it. It's a lot. But this is why more of us have to be engaged. I know there's a few of us that do content online. I don't know everything, right? Like I do I'm learning. I share and I learn as I go. Like I'm a stay-at-home dad. Like usually I'm busy with kids. When I get a little alone time, this is when I come with y'all and do some work. You know what I mean? But other than that, like it's people that ain't doing shit that should be doing. Like be an advocate, right? This is an industry. This is something like once it became legal, like you should be sharing your story. You should be going public. You should be saying, hey, man, this shit helps me with my chronic pain. Hey, man, the doctor told me I was supposed to be on something else, but because there's so many people that just don't know, right? I mean, ignorance is bliss, right? Like and you can't say common sense because common sense is not common, right? And so you could tell somebody, well, this is a plant versus something that somebody has done all types of chemical things to make it a pill, right? So as people, right, as humans, as citizens, I don't give a fuck what your job title is, how much money you making, what side of the aisle you sit on. That doesn't matter. If you're into cannabis, you should be educating folks. You know what I mean? Educate your local community, educate your family members, do things, right? I'm in Columbus. There's only my bandwidth is only so much. I'm not going to Cleveland. I'm not going to Cincinnati. I'm not going to Dayton all the time. I'm not going to all these places when I can go to the state house 10 minutes from my house. You know what I mean? And I know these cities are completely different in how they operate. Columbus is different from Cincinnati. And I know y'all got your own shit going on everywhere, right? But again, when it comes to state politics, we all have to understand, like, we all should be doing better, right? There shouldn't be this, well, the haves versus the have-nots, right? Because I'm somebody of privilege, and I know it, like, because I can move, like, I get invited to events, meetings, I invite myself to meetings, like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business leader, so I have my own shit. But I know the average person don't have access to everything, access to all the information. So that's why I created Ohio Cannabis World, because I'm like, yo, I can't be in the fucking industry like now, And me and my business partners we actually just inspected a 30,000 square foot potential grow facility yesterday. So fingers crossed, everything checks out. We'll hopefully be online in a couple years. I don't know how long the build out's going to take, but we already got our license, and so that's exciting news. But again, like I'm somebody like I'm real though. You know what I mean? Like I want everybody to have access to opportunity. I want everybody to get the money. I don't want people to be riding around, get pulled over for some bullshit, and then you got some nugs or you got a joint, you got a roach, probable cause, you smell like weed, your eyes red, now you done got a whole fucked up situation. Because most poor people can't afford $100, $500, $1,000 ticket for some weed. And you probably smoking the weed to help you with some other shit that done got you. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Everybody ain't got a crib. I just go out in my garage. I go in my backyard. I go to my shed. I blows it down. And so those are my privileges. And I understand the majority of people, especially in the communities that I serve and I come from, they don't have those privileges. They don't have business ownership, home ownership. Nobody can tell me what to fucking do. Nobody. Besides my wife. And my kids, other than that, like to make money, what? Do whatever the fuck I want. But that's a very privileged thing. You know what I mean? And when I started talking about cannabis, a lot of my business went away because a lot of my business is forward facing. It's being in front of kids or, being an athlete. So you have to have this presentation of this brand. And it's like, but I smoke weed though. And so once we legalize weed, I'm like, I'm going to talk about weed now. Because I ain't been able to talk about weed publicly since I was ever, right? Because I always had to be in the closet with my weed smoke. Y'all see this shit? Like, they don't like football shit? What? We'll add some football because Josh Gordon, right? Whole fucked up career behind smoking some weed. Career fucked up because he want to smoke some weed. That's fucked up. And lost his career, demonized, fucking crucified in the media for smoking weed. Millions of dollars lost. Potential Hall of Fame career gone. Personal brand and image gone. Because he wanted to smoke some weed because the weed helps you, especially when you're playing in front of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. Anybody could say and do anything to you as an athlete, and you got to just take it all in. You have a bad game, they're crucifying you on ESPN or Twitter. Your body hurt, you need to relax. And this is why athletes consume. But this is also why, we're seeing athletes deal with mental health issues. We're seeing athletes deal with suicide. And this is also why, I'm an advocate for cannabis, because I understand people are dealing with mental health issues. People are dealing with physical health issues. I've had my own like suicidal ideation at moments and like low points in my life. You know what I mean? So I understand. And if you don't have a support system, if you don't have a spiritual system, if you don't have family, friends, some type of thing, like the weed helped me out, because I smoke some weed and be like, fuck it. Right? Like, this ain't my problem. I close the computer right now. You know what I mean? Go smoke a fat one. But, again, that's a privilege that I have that I know not everybody has. I go downtown Columbus and I see the homelessness. You see the SNAP benefits. You see, people just struggling to afford just daily life. And cannabis is one of those things that we done spent $3 billion on medical and adult use cannabis. Only 36% of the adult use recreational sales goes back into the community. But it hasn't gone back into the community yet for addiction services, education, workforce development. There's so many different things. And this is why we got to show up to the State House, because I just read those articles and we're going to release these funds back, but then they're going to take social equity out. And social equity isn't just about Black people, by the way, Black and brown African Americans, right? Social equity is about poor people. I know there's poor white people that have been demonized behind cannabis, who've been locked up, put into the system. I went to school in Appalachia, where it's poverty, right? Where a lot of those people are on drugs, consuming drugs, or wanting to sell cannabis. So again, a lot of these social issues, I can only speak from being a Black man, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it's like to be a white person, and I'm not going to put myself in white people's shoes. You know what I mean? So I speak very passionately about my circumstances, because I know my circumstances. I know where I come from. If I was white, I'd be rich as fuck. I'm just putting that on because I've been around white people and I know how white people get to it. Right? I went to white Catholic schools most of my life. You know what I mean? Where I'm around elite people. Like, white people treat me really good when they understand who I am. You know what I mean? I get the benefit of the doubt. I get the investment. I get the support, I get all the but again, like, I'm from the hood though. Like, if I brought my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, motherfuckers would be like, oh, because I know how to maneuver out here. You know what I mean? But everybody don't have that same je ne sais quoi. Let me see. Will the bill pass? I don't think the bill's gonna pass Senate. No. So I don't think it's gonna pass because they just doing too much. They doing way too much. You gotta understand, right? Like, we overwhelmingly 57% of people who voted for adult use cannabis, right? So that's 57%. That's more people. I think it was over like 2 million people. So that was more people than voted for the governor. And then, you look at all the money coming into it. And so again, what they're proposing is completely different than issue 2. Right, like, it changes so much, right? You got criminal penalties, like they said in the article. They're going to keep the 12 plants. I think they're going to change the social equity, right? There's things they're going to change, right? They're going to criminalize you for having cannabis in the car, right? Like, so I don't think, because the Senate already blocked it, I believe. So I don't think it's going to go through, especially not before they go on break. So I think they go on break here soon. Dispo is too expensive for sure, but I mean, the thing about the dispos is you have to and I know this is not for everybody, sorry. I'm in Columbus, so just in a 10-mile radius of me, I have 3 dispensaries, which means I can shop, right? Like, I have options where, this dispensary on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday might have a different deal than this dispensary. Now, I really don't support the big dispensaries, right? Like, I'm trying to support local as much as possible. With that being said, there are deals. There are definitely deals. You know what I mean? I mean, there's 35% off deals. I looked on Sapphire's website. I mean, they had some pretty good products or some pretty good deals, right? So again, I don't know what everybody money looking like. You know, I'm a frugal shopper. You know what I mean? I don't go out and buy, you know, a bunch of weed from the dispensaries. I got my own shit. I got my own shit. You know what I mean? I got my own shit. I got my own. It's my personal. That's why they don't want people growing weed too. We did. We ain't done. We ain't done. Fuck you, me. It just smells so good. So, support your local growers. Find your local growers and support them. You know what I mean? I think that's very important to the ecosystem. I do understand though. So, but this is why we also have to create different programs, right? Like we have to create different platforms so people can understand like how to shop, where to shop, who got the deals. Also, we still don't have advertising in the cannabis industry. We still don't have marketing. So some people don't even know that they have a dispensary by them. You know what I mean? Like there's still so much shit up in the air because we've only had legal adult use for a year now. So, you know, if you got a little bit of extra time on your hands, create a platform where you can help people. Like we need more caregiver support. Nice little nugget there. But you gotta shop. Exactly. No matter how much OCAN tries to push out the competition until the prices go down, they will never make the revenue they projected. Oh yeah, these are terrible business people. Like terrible. Like they're fighting for the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're business minded, you're supposed to want the market to open up so then you can truly compete. It's not a true market if folks can't even, there's no competition. And but the thing is, they know they can't grow with, you know what I mean? They know they can't grow with the best growers, you know what I mean? So they're trying to get their money back right now. They want, you know, they're trying to get their investment back before the market actually opens up. And so, but that's why we got to keep the foot on the neck of these people. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just let these business folks run amok. And that's what people do. People just, oh, they're doing this, we're going to complain. Okay. Like, you should be calling OCAN out. Like, I call OCAN out all the time publicly. They're doing all types of dirty backroom deals and shit. They're having all types of events and shit. Yesterday, OCAN posted a Instagram picture. Oh, thank you to our sponsors for our bulletproof transportation services. So you gotta understand, like, where's OCAN getting their money from, right? So we need to check their books. And they're a nonprofit, so their books should be open to the public. Let me actually see. Let's see how much money they done made. Nonprofit. We'll look up. Because all that stuff should be, I think, public. All right, here we go. Oops. Here we go. I found a little something. This is the power of the internet, y'all. This way, motherfuckers gotta wake up. Look at this. So look, Ohio Cannabis Coalition, Columbus, Ohio, revenue for 2024, $562,628. 2022, they made 412,000. 2023 jumped up to 478,000. 2024, 563,000. And then their expenses. Look, they're spending more. They spent more than they made this year. Total assets, $157,000. Program services, investment income. Look, they're not even fundraising. Executive compensation. That can't be right. Yeah, there we go. Here's the compensation. Matt Close, 135,000. Charles Tiffany, director, 88,000. This is David Bowling. This is like the head person. Who else? Oh, these are the board members. I don't think this is updated. Look, there's all the information right here. It's their employee identification number. Who is it under? Andrew Rayburn. Andrew Rayburn. Briefly describe the organization's mission or most significant activities. OCAN was formed to advocate and educate on behalf of our members. We work collaboratively with the regulators and the legislature to enhance and improve the Ohio cannabis industry to ensure Ohioans have consistent access to safe supply of cannabis. Like, these niggas serious, bro? Excuse me. Ohio Cannabis. So here's the firm that they're under. Ooh, we about to do some work. All they stuff. Sorry. Is this organization described as a 501c3? I don't know what they are now. Are they for profit? Did the organization answer yes? The governing body. What's good, AJ? Sheesh. Sneeze attack. But yeah, here to look, P.O. Box. Who that P.O. Box? State the name, address, and telephone number of the person who possesses the organization's books and records. You want them books? Sheesh. Having a sneeze fest over here. I'll blow my nose real quick. I'll be back. Gotta check out these numbers though. My bad. We back. I'm crying. Crying. So man, this is how bad they got me, man. They trying to turn us to criminals, man. They taking all the money, man. Got to be on the politicians, though. They the ones making all the plays. Let me see. See any other content we got. My gosh. Sorry, guys. News. Let's see what marijuana moment get. How y'all doing today, man? How's everybody? So we got 3 people online. Make sure y'all send the comments in. I can read the comments. I'll put the comments up if y'all got any comments. I will share them with the chat, with the stream. Also, if anybody want to come on, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the stream too. Go ahead and put that in, and you could come on the stream, man, because I like to hear from the community, man. So if you're somebody in Ohio, somebody watching, you want to come on live, or you could just show me the or you could just send the chat, whatever way. I'm about to look up some more. Huh? Okay. Rand Paul slams alcohol and marijuana interests. All right. A GOP senator says he'll be filing a bill next week to protect the hemp industry from an impending federal ban on most cannabinoid products. He's also calling out alcohol and marijuana interests for allegedly joining forces to lobby in favor of the prohibitionist policy change, which will restrict access to a plant and its derivatives that are often used therapeutically, including by members of his Senate colleagues' families. In an interview on the Chris Cormo Project podcast that was posted on Thursday, Senator Rand Paul, Republican from Kentucky, previewed his plan to push back against the hemp ban that was included in major spending legislation President Donald Trump signed into law last week. Paul has been sounding the alarm for weeks about the potential consequences of the hemp recriminalization provisions, which he says would cost mass job losses and a $25 billion industry to be wiped out. As he previewed during a separate webinar organized by the Kentucky Hemp Association on Wednesday, the senator told Cuomo that he intends to introduce legislation next week that would make it a state policy regulating hemp cannabinoid products, which with basic safeguards in place to prevent youth access, for example, supersedes the federal law. That's what I'm saying. This shit just stupid, bro. Stupid, bro. Just read all of that. This shit is comedy though. That's crazy. I'm about to read all of this. But I mean, call your again. You got to call your congressmen and women. I know here in Ohio, it's what Houston and I think Marino. But you got to educate these people. You got to call. You got to email. Because again, these people don't know. Like a lot of the politicians, they just don't know. Like they know what they are told to know, right? So if they have lobbyists coming to them saying, "Hey, you need to do this," if they have business leaders coming to them, "Hey, you need to do this," if you got citizens, "Hey, you need to do this," they listen to who writes the check. So if you ain't cutting no check, they definitely not listening for sure, for sure. But oh man. But I mean, that's what it is. That's where we at right now. So again, keep smoking your weed, keep smoking your weed, keep sharing, keep educating the community, keep learning, keep growing, keep showing up. That's all we can do for real. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep doing my best on this channel for y'all. I thank everybody that tuned in today. I thank everybody that has followed, subscribed, commented, done any of the sorts. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, or Instagram, like I said, Facebook. I try to get the content everywhere. So I'm looking for some teammates too, man. If you want to be a part of the team, I can't pay you nothing right now. I can pay you in a little bit of weed. But I'm looking for some hosts, some guest hosts, maybe some writers if you like to write about content. If you want to show up to the State House and grill some of the politicians under the Ohio Cannabis Report brand, we would love that. So yeah, if you have any ideas, you have any content strategies or anything you want to want to shoot my way, I'm always open to opportunities and ideas, man. Like I said, this is all personal for me. It's also under my nonprofit, Green Environmental Outreach, which we focus on underserved communities. We focus on wraparound services, social services for underserved communities here in the state of Ohio. So you can support me through there with donations. We're also creating different programming. We do different events. We go to higher education. So this is us at Central State, talking about environmental justice, social justice issues, food issues in urban and rural communities. We talk about sustainability, renewable energy, obviously advocacy and leadership. This is part of my advocacy and leadership. And this is our one of our board members, Dr. Craig, who is a hemp professor at Central State University. Central State University is a federal land grant institute. And then, here's just some of the work we do out in the community. This is part of our garden. We do community cleanups, pollinate our gardens, vegetables. We planted some fruit trees. So we do a lot of beautification work in South Springfield. We partnered with one of the local carpentry schools that helped build us a shed for our nonprofit. Here's me when my hair was long, doing some education at Central State. We put on a free health clinic in Springfield every year. So this is one of the photos from that. Here's one of our that's not him, but we have Jason Cabus, who's one of our board members, he was one of the founding members of Ohio Clean Leaf. So he'll also be on our team. Here's him right here. This is Dr. Naravetla. He's one of the best heart surgeons probably in the world. And this is our CEO and his wife, Kenny and Angie, who are the masterminds behind Green Environmental Outreach. And there's just some of the pictures and photos from the community work that we do in the community. So definitely, if you're in Springfield, Ohio, if you're in the Columbus region, we're always looking for volunteers and people to support our mission. I'm always looking for help as well because I kind of get overwhelmed. I'm like a do-it-yourself type of person, but I would love some help in some of our advocacy work that we do because, again, I can't do everything. And so, again, thank you guys for joining in today. That's all I got for you guys. So peace, love, blessings. Have a good weekend. I may come back on. Let me see what's today, Friday. Maybe later tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. But I'm looking to get some more interviews too. So send some people my way. If y'all got some people that need to be interviewed, want to be interviewed, whether you got a brand, whether you got a personal brand, product, service, or just a testimony, let me know. Again, you can hit me up on all of our social media platforms. You can direct message us. Email me at ohiocannabisreport@gmail.com. Oh, disclaimer. This is for news, entertainment purposes only. Peace.